There is an eighth dimension beyond that which is known to normies. It is a dimension as vast as the planes and timeless as the directional pad. It is the middle ground between reality and fantasy, between science and imagination, and it lies between the pit of man's rage and the summit of his elation. This is the dimension of imagination, action, and wonder. It is an area we call the gaming experience, and we shall be your guides. I'm Not Much 23.
And I'm ChoasAssassin.
And this is Gamer Experience. And we have the Amethyst Dragon back on.
Yes, you do.
I wish it was a gold dragon.
Why?
I don't know. Gold just seems more expensive than amethyst.
But purple used to be a color reserved only for royalty just because it was so rare.
And
As was gold. Gold and purple. What would happen if an amethyst dragon and a gold dragon had a kid?
I have no idea.
Well, depending on which set we're going with. If we're going D&D, I don't think that'll happen because they're enemies, aren't they? Because it'd be a gemstone and a metallic dragon. They don't get along.
Yeah, I think the gem ones are more neutral.
Aren't they neutral?
Yeah, so you have like metallic for good, chromatic for evil, and then they came up with the gemstone ones like in the middle.
Got it. So it could happen.
But this episode, we're returning to a recurring series we haven't had for a while, just because we haven't had much content for a while. Character stories.
You mean people have emailed us and actually have helped give us more content?
No. Unfortunately.
Well, our email is still thegamerexperience@gmail.com, right?
No, it's just Gamer Experience. No the. All lowercase.
Well, shit. That means I've been telling people the wrong address.
You need me to spell it out again.
Pretty sure it's on these business or these cards that you printed out for us.
Yeah, and it's spelled the exact same as our podcast.
Like I can ever remember how that goes. I can barely remember if I've eaten today, let alone the fact that I'm part of a podcast.
Yeah. Golf Alpha Mike Echo Romeo Sierra Papa Echo Romeo India Echo November Charlie Echo @gmail.com. All lowercase.
And can we do that for those that don't know the military ways of spelling?
GAMERSPERIENCE @gmail.com.
That's just much easier.
Yeah.
Because it was clear, it was understandable, and I didn't have to make the word association of, okay, wait, what does that word start with?
Well, we know people that they can understand that easily, so it's why we do both, because sometimes it's easier.
Oh, and it avoids confusion. Was that a B or a D?
As well as, is that J or G?
Well, those are redundant letters sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Really, in my opinion, English should be simplified so that G only makes, like the hard G sound, the G.
But do you know why English is so convoluted and complicated?
Because it's dumb. And it is my native language, so I can say that.
Well, it's because
I thought it was the fact that we've taken sayings and phrases from
everywhere
and tried to put it all in one language.
That, and it's not based off of one singular language, but three.
Nice.
French, English, or Queen's English, and Germanic.
Germanic, French, and Old Norse.
So character stories. I actually think I might have one.
Oh.
Or not necessarily a character story, but more of a GM story. As I did this in the game I'm running for some friends. I'm actually running again. It's becoming more regular. I'm glad about it. But as some people know, I enjoy throwing various different references into my games because it's entertaining. So my players are doing their low-level adventures, so they get, the low-level quests of, kill some bandits, do a fetch quest, typical newbie missions. So they had a mission that they needed to help find a missing cat. So they went to the local veterinarian's office because that's the person who put the quest in, and she lost her boyfriend's cat. For some reason, the cat just was really good at escaping, like ridiculously good, almost like he had spellcaster levels. He also had a knack for lasagna, and there was an Italian place down the road.
Was this cat orange and fat?
Yes, it was also bipedal. So my party had to figure out via the trail of pasta sauce where the cat went. Well, they got near the restaurant because that was their first clue. Go to the restaurant. Well, there was a loud commotion. They go to run to see what's going on in the restaurant, and there is a cat running out with a plate of spaghetti. So I initiated the chase rules because, I feel like not a lot of GMs use the chase rules. I don't know if there's any chase rules in D&D, but I figured, hey, screw it. Let's have some fun with it. And they managed to catch the cat, but the cat had spellcaster levels, and so one of my players is a grappler. So he grabbed the cat, but the cat was still holding its plate of spaghetti. The cat has magic. I rolled a nat 20 for its concentration check to concentrate and defensively cast his spell, which turned the normal plate of spaghetti into a plate of spaghetti that would fill a small room. Basically, think like a large person, but on a plate of spaghetti.
Fun.
So the cat doesn't have the strength to hold the plate of spaghetti, so it ends up dropping the spaghetti on the monk's head, breaking the plate. So I made everybody make a reflex save for basically entangle and grease.
Ooh.
To not get entangled within the pasta and not slip on the pasta sauce.
I was going to say that sounds like some greasy sauce.
Oh, it's spaghetti sauce.
I've had an Italian pasta sauce that had just way too much fat in it before, and it was not pleasant.
But that's and everybody was just like, holy crap, we caught Garfield. Although they wanted to really not make a thing, so it's Field Guard. That's what they decided to name it, and just like, okay. In order, they couldn't figure out. It's like, well, why? Because they went outside, like there's a giant mess of pasta sauce everywhere, and they're like, how is this not seen? They went and looked from the inside out the window that was open, and they couldn't see the mess. They ended up having to interact with the window, make a will save to disbelieve the illusion that the cat had placed on the window to make it the mess hidden. They all had a lot of fun with that. They said that one player, he's got some experience. He said that's by far one of the more entertaining combats I've had, because that's really off the wall. Did you plan that? I was like, nope. Literally, I think so quickly and so in many different directions that I just came up with half of it on the spot.
Is the veterinarian's name Elizabeth by any chance?
It was. And her boyfriend was out of town selling his artwork. Hence why she was watching the cat at her veterinarian clinic. The issue is, Garfield being Garfield, he let all of the other animals in her care out. So now they're going to have an additional quest to basically go out and look through the city to try to find more animals.
Nice.
And bring them back. So kind of a reoccurring fetch quest.
The problem there is, do they know exactly what these other animals look like?
Because about
When
after that combat
once.
Well, we ended for dinner about around that time, so it'll be more found out next session, which will be on this Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, how thematic! You ended for dinner. Did you all have spaghetti?
Funny enough, no, they didn't have any spaghetti sauce. We had rice with cream and mushroom soup because it's in between pay periods at the end of the month, so everybody's broke.
Actually, that doesn't sound bad. Add a little creaminess to the rice.
But yeah, no, it was entertaining. I actually really liked it. And they all had a blast chasing down and trying to figure everything out.
Fun little coincidence of timing things the other day. This is kind of a personal story, but not so much as a game story. But I make homebrew stuff, a lot of it. And this month I'm making a whole bunch of underwater theme thing for Mermay. And on the 29th, a couple days ago, I made this giant undersea snail thing, posted online, and then like 6 hours later, I actually learned that May 29th is National Snail Day.
Is it really?
Total coincidence, and I'm still amused by that.
Out of curiosity, was the snail pink?
It is red, but then it's got black scales on it, and it's got a black shell.
Well, the reason why I asked if it was pink is the original Doctor Dolittle had a giant pink snail.
Oh no, this is called an ironhide snail, and its appearance is based off a real undersea snail that has iron sulfide in its shell, and it grows these scales on its body. Its body is kind of one version of it is kind of maroonish. There's like three different color variations in the real world based on the three locations it lives undersea. It lives near hydrothermal vents. It's a fun little thing, but the timing coincidence thing it was on my brain, so that's why I asked if you had spaghetti for dinner.
What's the name of the real life snail?
The real one, wow, just look up iron snail or volcano snail. That's not its real name, but there's a Wikipedia entry. It's I don't remember. Let's see, pull it up here in just a moment.
Scaly foot gastropod.
That's the one,
Oh shit, that's actually really cool looking.
isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you talked about real life things. Like, I'm sorry, what? I had to look it up. That looks like a D&D creature. It really does. That's awesome. I'm gonna
There's
have to throw one of these at my party.
There is weird stuff under this. See, yeah, the one I made is instead of being like a couple inches long at most, the one I made is like 10 feet long, and its shell is like 8 feet thick,
Yeah.
and it eats instead of living off bacteria that live inside its gut like this one does, which is convenient. It doesn't have to do anything but crawl around.
It's a cargo, basically.
Yeah, the one I made eats anything organic. Dead whales that fall to the thing, mats of bacteria that grow on the volcanic vents, player characters that can't get away from it. Just funny because it's a snail; it doesn't go that fast. But if they get too close and it hits them, it's got a poison that slows them down, so then it can eat them.
That's actually kind of cool. I like that.
But yeah, so yeah, that just came to mind because talking about timing and of things.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Do either of y'all have any other character stories?
I actually do. Well,
All right, let's hear it.
Well, it's actually a Starfinder Society scenario. And of course, a lot of the briefings say, like, whoever's in charge, like First Secret or Venture Captain, says, I picked you personally. Of course, this character I was using, he laughed. It's like, you picked me? And the character in question is my Soki operative, Bud Zare.
Isn't Bud the bookie?
Yeah, so I was gonna say his day job, he's a bookie.
Wonder how Sal's investments are going.
Well, they allow Bud to balance his books. That's really useful.
I still find it funny the fact that we didn't plan this until afterwards, but for our listeners, his character Bud is a bookie. I have a character who's also an operative. Their name is Sally, but they are an android. Now, everything I've read about the androids doesn't really have them as, set as gender. So Sally has a alternate persona named Sal. Because when I originally made the character, originally it was Sal, but I couldn't remember everything about it and I lost the original character, so I had to rebuild the character. And I couldn't remember the name, so I just went with Sally. I don't know why. So that's part of that, but they're a gambler. That's their day job. And so most gamblers have some sort of bookie that they go through to place high placed bets. So it's a weird coincidence, but that's the interactions between Bud and Sally.
And Sal always wins.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask him how.
Yeah,
He'll
but
have to kill you.
Bud doesn't ask. He just knows that he's gonna have to make sure that all the people that bet in that direction have been covered by people that bet in the other direction.
Yep.
But to get back to the story, Bud never really thinks he's qualified for all the missions that he goes on. But this one in particular, they were trying to infiltrate a company, like one of the enemies they're after was in control of it. I'm not going to say much more to spoil it, but for the infiltration, I don't think there's a much better suited character for the job, at least among the people at the table, than Bud. He had the engineering skill to make the fake ID cards. He had the skill to be able to steal uniforms for them to get in. He had the stealth to get by a sleeping worker that he kind of stumbled into. And of
That
course,
just sounds like shitty security. Workers sleeping on the job? Come on.
yeah, but he was very well suited for the job up until combat, which I never rolled that well for combat. For him, I don't know why.
Oh, it's kind of like with Toto. Up until later levels, I had designed Toto to do one thing so specifically. When it actually came to combat, it was a go team go. More of a, you can't hit that, I could see it from here. You missed him by like 2 inches. Because Toto's perception is out of the ballpark.
I did not build Bud to be an infiltrator. In fact, he's a daredevil operative, which use acrobatics and athletics for their trick attacks and stuff.
That's impressive. A daredevil that's more stealthy than the rest of the party. What was the rest of the party?
Let's see, we had a mystic, that was a counselor, a Sheeran mystic, and honestly, I forget the other two.
Obviously not important.
But yeah, Bud was just so well suited for that mission that kind of funny that he didn't believe that he could pull it off or that anybody would pick him for it. Well, until the combat.
Yeah.
Because there's another scenario where, well, it was a continuation of one much earlier scenario, but the premise is like these new people that earlier agents have introduced to the Pact Worlds. Now they're holding a celebration to unite the two factions. They want the Starfinders to help them out. For the combat, Bud was right next to the creature and still could not hit it with his gun, which he can do without provoking because he's an uncanny shooter. Uncanny as in uncannily inaccurate.
So what you're saying is Stormtrooper.
Stormtroopers don't have aim that bad. But the thing is, during the rest of the skill checks, especially in the one game where you had to dodge like almost like thorny tumbleweeds blown by like fans. I mean, I was crushing it, getting like over like 25, 26 results because his acrobatics is so damn high. He was like doing half rotation handsprings over groups of these at a time.
So
Show off.
yeah, as I said, so he either is showing off or has unlocked Ultra Instinct and just ran out because he hasn't mastered it during combat, obviously.
Yeah, he was showing off, but he was almost swallowed whole during combat, so that's the way my dice like to fuck me over.
Mm-hmm.
The characters in the game that I run have occasionally gotten swallowed by things.
What kind of things?
Most memorable was probably the giant wolf.
The giant wolf got swallowed by something, or something got swallowed by a
No.
giant wolf?
A giant wolf swallowed two of them.
That's hilarious.
Yep. They were
Um,
infiltrating infiltrating. They were traveling through the Orcish Empire by boat, and the orcs had control of this gigantic wolf. And when the players blew up a bridge, it caught sight of them, and then caught their scent for a little while till the ranger used Pass Without Trace to remove their scent. But then it caught up to them later, and they fought it, and it swallowed one of them. And they're like, "Oh crap!" and then they were fighting it, and it swallowed another one.
Damn.
They survived, barely,
Hmm.
but
I'm
it's very
still.
difficult to find your way when you're inside something's stomach and you can't see anything.
I have a character that swallowed. I don't know if I've said this story before. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't remember. But I had a wizard who we were in a hallway, and we were noticing that the hallway was like impeccably clean. First, the person in front of us didn't see it until it was too late. There was two gelatinous cubes.
2 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, was this hallway perfectly square shaped?
Yes. With no room whatsoever on either side or above. Like it was a wall. So what ended up happening is they ran into one. We tried to run away, but then another gelatinous cube came from from a thing. So one of our party members was stuck in between two gelatinous cubes,
Fun.
and it was down to me, the cleric, and one of our other people, because I think the person that was down was our rogue, which could do like no damage to the gelatinous cube because all they had was piercing.
And it's Jello.
Yeah. So we had just recently picked up a necklace of fireball, and I asked the GMs like, "Can I try to go through the gelatinous cube and detonate the necklace of fireball, which I still had 3 pearls on?" And so he had me make a athletics check to try and get through it. I managed to make it through all the way through, and I managed to detonate it, launching 3 fireballs on my location in between both of the gelatinous cubes.
Cooked Jello.
One of the gelatinous cubes died. The other was put on really low health, as was I and the person that I used to use my body to help cover them to help eat half of the damage. I had like 80 health. I was in single digit health points.
Ooh.
3 fireballs. Like it was 8 die 6 and 2 5 die 6. So not small fireballs.
No.
But because I was able to drop the one and the other one had taken so much damage, the cleric had enough of a spell to throw and damage the other gelatinous cube that we were able to kill both of the gelatinous cubes. All because the wizard did a suicide mission to try to go into and through a gelatinous cube.
Yeah, that is a pretty ballsy move.
Mm-hmm. But I think that was the only way we were going to be able to save our party member.
Yeah.
Because we
they're
had to get
trapped.
through one in order to get to the other, and the other gelatinous cube would have engulfed and started to eat him. And they were already down.
Oh, yeah. I love the gelatinous cube just because it's so absurd.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the game I'm running. So I like playing a little bit more overpowered campaigns. I like running them because then I can throw some harder things at my players, and it's not necessarily going to be an instant party wipe. That, and people tend to have fun when they could play a little bit more broken. So we have a fighter barbarian named Kratos. Yes, they are trying to make actual Kratos from God of War, and I'm helping them. We have a alchemist hunter. I forget the archetypes that they are at, but I think their hunter archetype is they get the plant companion. They want me to homebrew the plant they want, which I haven't gotten around to. We have a Totori monk fighter.
Do they only
who's-
fight monks?
No, they're a grapple specialist. And then we have a cleric ninja, a Gorin, the plant constructs in Pathfinder. And they're the ninja archetype that they literally can, instead of a smoke screen, it's a petal storm. And they decided to name the cleric ninja Tsunade.
Is that a Naruto character?
Yeah, a ninja who specializes in medical ninjutsu. You know, a healer.
Oh, I was gonna say cleric
We
ninja.
also have yet to figure out the actual name of the monk, though. because he keeps changing it because we keep picking on him for it. When he first said his name, he missaid it as penis. And so nobody could keep a straight face in trying to say his name because it sounds really like it. And so he keeps changing his name because he's frustrated with it.
Understandable.
But the hunter is really interesting because they have a curse on them. I don't know how if either of y'all have watched an anime called Ranma.
I saw it once at a gaming convention.
So whenever Ranma is splashed with cold water, he becomes a she. Entire kind of premise of the show. Well, similar to with the hunter, when she's splashed with water, she turns into a mermaid or merfolk.
That is, I think that's an incredibly common thing when there's mer people stories.
Yes, but it's one of those things of I still have to fine tune it. But we've only gotten into session 3, technically. We had session 0, and then we've had 2 sessions since.
Mm-hmm.
So I still need to actually sit down and, help them homebrew this curse. Just been so busy with work, it's been difficult.
I know what the monk's name should be. Saitama.
Saitama? Nah.
Really? You don't want a monk to be the One Punch Man?
Nah. He doesn't. He wants to be able to give all sorts of hugs.
Bob.
I don't know what he's decided. I think he's decided on a name, but I don't know just yet. But so far, I've had them do a fetch quest. I've had them, get to know each other. They're helping out a blacksmith. It's one of those things that it's gonna be interesting. Of how far are they gonna go? What are they gonna do? It's real sandboxy, and I prefer running things like that because I can think up on the fly. I have general ideas of what I'd like to throw at them, but I don't know as far as like how far I'm gonna make it go. It's all yet to be determined. I like running the sandbox because it lets them choose their direction.
Oh yeah, same here. My current campaign is very sandboxy, and it's been going. It'll be 4 years in September.
Oh wow!
You have any character stories from it?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Just depends on the situation. There was the being swallowed by the wolf. Well, turns out when they were doing the sabotage on like the Orcish bridge and stuff, that was all motivated by the Orcish character in the party who does not approve of the empire that she's from. Because in my world, the orcs have this huge empire. They conquered like 5 human kingdoms and then just stopped.
Why?
Nobody except the orcs know. Well, and not even all the orcs know. The leadership, they're the only ones who know. They even like totally skipped over this one tiny little coastal kingdom. Just went around it. Didn't
They're
touch it.
afraid of water, obviously.
Well, considering how much ocean the rest of the empire borders, that's definitely not it.
Not worth their time?
I don't know.
You made the world, yet you don't know?
Okay, I know, but I'm not. That information is not out anywhere for the players to find out.
Got it.
And you don't want to put it on here to spoil things.
Yeah, if they listen, I'm not sharing that sort of information. That's something that can be discovered in the game should they, dedicate a lot of time to it, because
That's
crossing kingdoms and a lot of information. They're not doing that right now. They're on a mission to go to the far north to fight to get rid of a demon that's impersonating an archfey because they made a deal with a hag. The players made a deal with a hag to get rid of this demon who's impersonating an archfey.
That's hilarious.
Who
You should
is
DM me the reason because I'm genuinely curious. Like, why?
okay? I can do that. I'll do that after the show.
That's fair.
Yeah. So they're on this whole and that's all tied to a backstory for one of the characters who is a warlock of the Winter Archfey, the one that's being impersonated. Because when the player made the character, she's like, "Can I have my patron be the Prince of Frost?" And in my head, I'm thinking, my world doesn't have a character named the Prince of Frost. My world already has a being who is the Archfey of Winter, because she wanted the Winter Archfey subclass that I made for Warlocks. And I'm like, well, sure, yeah. Now there is a prince, and he's totally an imposter. I'll make him a
That's
demon.
great for having things tie in with characters.
There's almost everything that these players have done long term has been tied somehow to their character backstories. And that's because that's what I wanted to do when I started the campaign. I'm like, I'm not going to do, save the world.
No,
These first level characters are not destined to save the world.
no.
And even if they were, they're not going to be told that at the start of the campaign.
Yeah.
I've been in games like that, and the games were fun, but limiting because you're like, okay, this is our goal for the entire campaign. This is the only thing we really need to focus on. Anything else is a distraction. We know we're on a time crunch. We gotta say, I'm like, I want
For
players to explore things.
my game, I really like the idea of the test of the Starstone, but in order to do it, they need to build a following. They need to help around. They need to spread their names, kind of thing.
Oh, there's a bard in the party who is doing her best to spread the party's name that they're not particularly happy with, but they're using it, and they've been using it for like 3 real years now.
Beware the murder hobo party.
No, it's the Prevengers.
Prevengers?
It's kind of like the Avengers, except they get the vengeance in ahead of time.
Pre-avenging. Don't worry. We don't need to avenge the town. We're gonna kill the bad guy before he destroys the town. We're the pre-avengers.
Granted, they were in a way responsible for destroying a part of a large city.
For shits and giggles, you need to throw a character that has a revenge thing against them.
Oh,
Just shits and giggles.
There's a couple of them. There's the bad guy from like the first problem that they did, like the first real thing I planned out, because I didn't have the characters' backstories really for the first couple of sessions. Was a wizard who turned himself into a were-rat with delusions of taking over this kingdom. He's still alive. They defeated him. They ruined his plans. He's still alive. He occasionally sends them a sending spell, the mental messages,
Yeah.
just to taunt them or irritate them or threaten them. And the group's cleric will occasionally do it back. Just
Yeah.
like, we were thinking of this guy, and you know what? I'm going to send him a message just to make him mad.
Just because, like, all the people they wronged, just have them make their own, like, Doom Force kind of thing. Have them all as a group and have them be, we are the people you have wronged. This is our revenge. And call them the Revengers.
The thing is, they are actually a heroic group. Like, they're only, people who would want vengeance are bad guys. It's that one wizard, and he's still not powerful. He's not going up in level like the group is. There's a demon that was burning down a forest, and one of the group members cast banishment, and it worked. We'll occasionally cast sending just to let them know he still exists.
So this group is like the meme, "We did it, Patrick! We saved the town!" As Bikini Bottom burns around them.
There was literally burning.
Is there an evil bard that they stop? Because if they send a thing of messaging, it can easily be the song "I'm Still Standing."
No,
That's all they get.
But the bard in the group is interesting because her method of giving bardic inspiration to inspire her party members is kind of like demotivation.
You a failure.
Like, can't you do better? Save me.
It smelled like bitch in here.
No, not like demeaning, but just like totally not motivating. But it's fun that way, and that's part of
You
her
hit the other
character.
guy so much harder. Why you fail at hit him harder? Kind of like that kind of thing.
It can be.
It was like, is that the best you can really do?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Sounds kind of like what Toto would do, except Toto wouldn't inspire his party. He'd just piss them off.
So that's a fun little character quirk of that one. That's the one with that's a half dark elf. The telepathic, possibly evil sorceress mother that
That's
she's avoiding dealing with her mother. She's like, no, I don't want to do that.
that's fair enough.
Gotta. It's an interesting group. There's a human, there's a half wood elf, there's a half dark elf, there's an orc, there's a half demon human. Those are fun in my game. Every time they wake up, you roll a dice, and depending on the dice rolls, they can wake up with horns that they can headbutt with, or a prehensile tail, or wings so they can fly.
So these
And-
half elves,
Yes,
what's the other half?
generally human. So it's half elf, half human. But I got tired of all half elves being the same because there's all these types of elves, and I see elves as more the magical parent. So their traits are what determines what the offspring gets, rather than what type of human they are.
That's fair.
So yeah,
Something I found interesting out, and I plan on throwing this at my party. Centaurs are, by definition, an animal, a quadruped animal with a human upper half.
Mhm.
So I'm going to throw a centaur that is a goblin and chihuahua. He's gonna be the angriest little fuck there is.
that's funny.
Just straight barbarian levels. And he's just gonna come running and he's gonna do like no damage, but it's gonna be so angry.
That's funny. I actually homebrewed new stats for dogs, and they come in various sizes. Your big dog, which is like a medium-sized thing, your regular dog, which is a small creature, and your little dog, which is technically tiny. And the little dogs get advantage on saving throws against fear because they don't realize how small they are, and they're fierce.
That's fair. The other centaur I'm gonna throw at the party is part moose.
Big one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go literally with a chihuahua goblin. And just because I can, a moose centaur with the minotaur upper half. That it is gonna be a terrifying motherfucker.
A Minocentaur.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a Sin Minotaur?
Sin Minotaur?
I
It's
have,
literally gonna be an abomination, but it is gonna hit like a freight train.
Nice.
I'm
I have a creature
estimating
that's
it out. It's gonna have like a 30 strength. It's gonna be on par with some giants.
fun. I have a centaur creature that started as a joke. What do you call a headless centaur?
A horse?
Headless Horseman?
A headless horseman.
Horseman.
It's an undead centaur that decapitates people.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. Mind if I use that?
Go right ahead. I can
Awesome.
send you the link to it if you want.
I'll have to transfer it over to Pathfinder, but yeah.
I'm just making a note of what I got to send over. And why orcs didn't attack that king? Okay. Making a note of what I said I'd send you.
That's good, because I would have forgotten.
Yeah. This group I'm with, every week we've been playing. Occasionally we take a week off for real life things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Other than that, has been every week since September of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And they were all new or basically new players. They'd never played. I specifically chose a group that hadn't really played before, and they have been so much fun. And it's not a lot of like I'm going to do wacky things just to do wacky things, or I'm going to try to like disrupt the group, because a lot of like younger, newer players, their idea of fun is to kind of be dicks. These people they're imaginative, they're fun, they get in character, and they like to have fun too. And so I have the world react to what they do or what they don't do. Like the thing when I talked about burning down part of a city, they didn't really do that, but that
Did
was
they
a
help
dragon.
rebuild?
What was that?
Did they help rebuild?
They did not.
Ooh, that's not going to look good on the
But
town.
the
Yeah, they
city
helped stop the dragon, but they didn't even help with cleanup. What the fuck kind of hero party is that?
technically the
them.
dragon was there to help the city. The group had traveled to this volcano and talked to this dragon and made a deal with the dragon so that it would come and burn its way into this mound of ice that was in the middle of the sea that was frozen because of what the players did.
At
They
some point, you should have your party like write some of their favorite stories that they've done and send them into our thing so we could talk about it. Because I'd love to hear some of the stories that you've done in a 4 year long session.
yeah. Oh, like that
That's
was
impressive. I got to give my props to that.
yeah, and that actually goes back to that one character's demonic warlock patron who said, "Hey, there's this big pearl I want. I want you to deliver it to this city. It's at the top of the mountain, guarded by a white dragon who was blind." They went to steal the pearl, and the thing was like 3 feet in diameter, so it's hundreds upon hundreds of pounds. It ended up falling off the mountain where they found it on. It cracked. They managed to get it on a off this island onto a boat. Dragon turtle attacks the boat, and they weren't able to really keep the pearl out of the water. Some cold magic was involved. The pearl amplified it, froze the sea,
God damn.
and basically made an ice plain bridge between this island with lots of dangerous creatures and this port city. So they iced in the port. So they went on a big quest to get a because they needed dragon fire to help melt this pearl out of the sea and get it removed.
Oh wow. That's intricate. I like that.
And
Yeah.
that's a lot of it is improv because like I didn't actually plan for the pearl to go into the sea. I knew it was going to amplify cold magic like crazy.
But not to the extent of, yeah, no, we're just gonna casually have this into the ocean. Wait a minute, what happens to
Yeah.
cold?
So then the fire cleric starts getting, dreams about because she specifically, prayed to her god to say, what can we do, to do this? And then she like ends up having a dream of, this giant fiery dragon. And the next time she, prays to her deity, she's like, you know, or like in the dream, she's like, why? And the dragon says, you asked. So then she starts dreaming about this dragon, and eventually they got there because I didn't know where the dragon was going to be. I didn't even have a specific dragon in mind at that very moment.
You just knew. Um, you're gonna
Yeah.
find a dragon to help you.
So, yeah, and then, the player added some details to the dream that weren't originally there, and those details ended up being part of that dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got orange scales. I don't think I remembered like actually giving a color to the dragon. So, yeah, the players contribute so much to what happens in my game, and it is wonderful. They have their own motivations, and then they work together as a group or don't.
Well, the end goal for mine is they're to become gods, or try to be. The issue is, well, I told them straight up, it's like my job is to tell this story until the test of the Starstone. Then my job is to kill you. So they know that, okay, I'm making them overpowered because they need to be for what I plan on throwing at them.
There you go.
I'm not gonna go easy on them. I'm gonna be scouring things, having friends help me build things to throw at them. I don't know how much about you know of Pathfinder, but there are the Sin Wizards, also known as the Rune Lords. I'm gonna throw the Rune Lords at them, which the Rune Lords are overpowered wizards from ancient times that each one has a sin, and each sin corresponds with a specific form of magic. For instance, conjuration is sloth, evocation is wrath.
Gotcha.
And so I'm going to be throwing the rune lords at the party at some point because they're going to have to fight things like that. I'm going to fight things that, great, you're not going to be able to grapple this. You're not going to be able to do this. The entire purpose of the test of the Starstone is literally to throw things at you that you're not necessarily going to be able to handle.
Hmm.
So it's going to be interesting as far as what all I throw.
Nice.
So, in the end, I might have them win. I might end up killing them. But right now, my job is to tell a story, make sure they all have fun, and then kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, I see my job as a facilitator, the one who has the world react to what the players do. I try to do it so it makes sense generally, and then of course throw out interesting people and places and things for them to encounter.
Yeah. I've been asking various friends of, hey, can I throw a character based off of your likeness? Or hey, can I use one of your characters for, my game? I'm trying to, bring other people into this as well. And
Cool.
I've already gotten the go ahead from one of my friends of they love the idea because I told them, hey, I need a character that kind of does this, and I want them kind of in your likeness. Is this okay? And they're like, yes, I love the idea, but instead of this, can we have this be their job? And it's like, done.
I think that's a pretty good note to end this episode on.
We
Again,
didn't get a whole lot of character stories in. But there are more to come. We've talked about plans. I have a couple ideas from Amethyst Dragon. I like some of the things you mentioned with your Starfinder of things I might be able to do. A corrupt company. I kind of like the idea of that. But there will be more stories to come.
yeah, and
Always.
of course, some people might be wondering why character stories in a podcast about the gaming experience. Because these stories are literally gaming experiences. These are your gaming experiences.
Hence why we keep asking, send them in.
And-
It can be something as small as you made a save that your character probably would normally have done, and something really funny happened. We don't care. We want to hear what y'all's gaming experience is.
And non-playable characters are still characters.
Let's see how that NPC screwed up the party because they said one thing and the party took it as something completely different and went on an entire other tangent adventure instead of helping the freaking man find his cabbage patch.
That actually happened in my game with these characters. They were on their way to like a seaport. They're going to get a boat and go around to this other place. And one NPC, when they were leaving the town, he's like, "Good luck." And they're like, "I don't know how to take that. Let's go over land instead."
What? Good luck on your sea voyage.
We're going to this port, and he's like, "Well, good luck." And they're
That'll
like,
take 6 times long.
"That
We don't
doesn't sound good." Let's just walk. We're gonna go the opposite direction. We'll take the slightly longer duration trip, and we'll walk there.
Damn, and I had a sea encounter and everything, and
And again, you can send your stories into gamerspirits@gmail.com or at gamerspirits on X, formerly known as Twitter. Our DMs are open. And
or you
again,
can join our Discord. I believe it's still open. We also have our YouTube, right?
yeah, Gamerspirits podcast on YouTube. And Gamerspirits podcast is the name of our Discord. It should be a permanent invite link on our pinned tweet/post.
If not, message us on X. Other options are, I don't know if we've figured this out, but I know our things on Spotify. If there's ways of messaging on Spotify, I don't know. Try on there. If not, you could type in the Gamer Experience on YouTube and it should show up. Our the emblem that we have is what'll show most likely.
Yeah, I think I've done pretty good using that logo across all of our platforms.
Which I like it.
And again, I want to thank the Amethyst Dragon for coming back on again.
Oh, sure. If anybody's looking for any of my stuff, my homebrews, the book I've written, anything like that, everything of mine is at amethyst-dragon.com.
Yeah, remember that dash.
Yeah, because if you leave off the dash, you go to like some like essential oils site or something like that. It wasn't available in 2000 when I got the domain.
Nice. So is it dash like in like a hyphen dash or
Yeah,
underscore?
Like a hyphen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, on that note, I'm Not Much 23.
I'm Chaos Assassin.
And
I'm the Amethyst Dragon.
And this is Gamer Experience.
And we invite you to have your own Gamer Experience.